Get started. Our main topic today is going to be identity theft and the dark web by myself, Tom Kreuzer. You can mute your audio and turn off your video until the Q&A at the end of the presentation. You may get a better performance there depending on your connection. You can use the chat to ask a question. I won't look at it though until after we're completed the formal part of the presentation and get to the Q&A. If you do want the handout is out on the PC Club website. If you look in the past meetings, files area, you can download and print the handout. Our agenda today will cover the club status, and then we'll get to our main topic. Just a thank you to everybody who was able to attend our summer outing last month, Yeah, we're in August. It was in July there. We had at the Green Mill. These are some pictures from it. I think we had 30 people or 31 people there. So it was nice to see everybody that could make it. And if you couldn't make this year's, hopefully you can make next year's there. Future meetings, our next Q&A online where you can ask a question or we talk about current topics will be September 1st at 11:30. Our next general meeting will be on cloud storage by myself. We'll talk about Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, Apple iCloud, and some tips. We are trying to get an in-person meeting for that. That'll be September 16th, and we'll try for cookies or something at the in-person. And once we get it a little more formalized, we'll have people sign up for it. But it looks like we should be able to get together, and that'll be available also online if you can attend. But if you do want to attend, it'll be in Building 201, I think. And the next Macintosh SIG is September 18th. These are the officers. Jim is our president. Linda is our vice president. Paul is our membership secretary. Andrew is our treasurer. Chuck is our recording secretary. Mike leads the MacSig. Paula is a director at large. And I'm Tom Kreuzer. I'm also a director at large. Members old and new, dues get paid to Paul Liebert. He sends out an email and you can pay him online or send check through the regular mail there. Just a reminder, if you are changing your emails, you're retiring, or just changing from one email provider to another, make sure and notify us because that's how we keep in touch and send out notices like for this meeting. If you do have suggestions for topics, you can email your ideas to any of the board members or talk to us. We're always looking for people to volunteer to present. Could be on hardware or software, maybe something you use at work or at home. And if you don't like to present, you could write a short article, meaning a sentence or two, or a long article, and we can include it in our monthly eBytes newsletter. Out on our website, this meeting is being recorded, the screens, and will be available out there along with the handouts. So if you miss any of the meetings, or want to revisit, you can go out there at any time. The deals section is out there. Our monthly eBytes newsletter is also out there. This is a link. The link is also on all the handouts, QR code on there, or in the emails that we send out. Okay, let's get to our main subject today, which is identity theft and the dark web by myself, Tom Kreuzer. Protecting yourself against identity theft is about reducing the chances that criminals can access your personal information and making it difficult for them to use it if they do get it. Unfortunately, your information is already out there, and we'll talk about all the ways it gets out there, some of which you don't have any control over. What you do determines whether hackers will steal your money, hijack your accounts, or move on to an easier target. Identity theft is when thieves use your personal data to take over or open a new account for financial gain. So that's usually the most damaging, is somebody getting into your bank accounts or signing up for new credit cards and causing you all kinds of trouble there. Personal data includes things like your name, date of birth, social security number, account IDs, email address, bank accounts, credit card numbers, PIN numbers, passwords, address, phone, and just all kinds of personal information. Over the years, we've had thousands of data breaches, and we've had bad personal decisions that people have made, either not updating their computers or clicking on an email or responding to a telephone call or things like that have exposed a ton of personal data. The biggest one, and this is, I think, the last time I did this presentation on identity theft, but the biggest one was in 2024, the National Public Data. There was leaked billions of pieces of personal information, including social security numbers in the United States. And that data breach included probably 80 to 90% of the people in the United States. So myself and probably most of you, your data, including things like Social Security, is out there, and a ton of your data is out there. We are all at risk, and we need to protect ourselves. So that's kind of what the presentation's about, is identifying some of this stuff and then the tips and that to help protect you, the things that you should do. First, we'll talk about how your data or your identity is stolen. Well, the number one way that it's done is by a data breach. And this is the most common, where a hacker or somebody gains access to a company. It could be like a Best Buy. It could be National Public Data. Could be Facebook. Could be you name it. Any entity out there. Most of them have been involved in a data breach where somebody has broken into their servers and gotten access to our personal information. This is something that we have, no matter what we as individuals do, we have no control over. So that's out there. The number two way that your identity is stolen is through scams, whether it's emails, phishing attacks, or a spam attack there. Number three way is malware or a virus or spyware that gets installed on your computer and that. So it's all these different ways that information is accumulated on there. Now, once your information is accumulated or available out there, why do thieves want that data? Well, the number one reason is they can open fraudulent credit card accounts in your name. So if they have enough information, your social security number, your addresses, your phone numbers, things like that, it's relatively easy to open a new credit card. If they're not opening a new credit card, the second most popular use of your identity is to use the credit card. Maybe they have an existing credit card number for you, and they'll use it to make purchases. And the example there is like Best Buy. If you would use the credit card at Best Buy, this goes back a few years ago, but Best Buy had a data breach, and the data breach was the customers along with credit cards that you had used at Best Buy. And so it's possible for somebody wanting to steal your identity to get those credit card numbers and use them. Third most popular way your identity is used is there's a number of scammers and hackers that make money off of selling your personal information on the dark web. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Another way is through filing fraudulent taxes and or stealing your tax refund that you were due. So multiple ways that your identity is used. The fifth, know your ID and password to access your financial account. So this is just, let's say, the bank ID and password. If they know the password to get into your bank, or you use the same password on the Best Buy site as what you use on your bank, they can try and log in to your bank using your email address and a password and possibly get in that way. Okay, what is the dark web? Well, the dark web isn't one site at www.darkweb.com. So it's not just one URL out there that you go to. The internet is made up of 3 different distinct layers. The first layer is called the surface or clear. Then you have the deep web, and then you have the dark web. The surface or clear is the top part of this iceberg on the right here. That is roughly 4% of the internet. That's 4% of the internet that is accessed without a password and works from virtually any browser. It's regularly indexed, so when you do a Google search and it comes up with sites, that's what Google is indexing, is the clear or surface web there, and it's indexed out there. The next layer, the second layer, is the deep web. This makes up 90% of the internet. This is the unindexed internet that requires passwords to get to sites or to information out there. The deep web contains mostly benign sites, such as password-protected email accounts. So we all have email accounts. Well, email accounts are not on the surface or clear web. In order for somebody to get at them, they have to have an account and a password to get in there. There's also all the paid services out there. Medical records, company private websites, and all this. That's why roughly 90% of the internet is not indexed, is not in search engines like Google and Bing. The deep web is not something to be fearful of. It's just the way that the internet works. This is the fearful part. The fearful part is the dark web. The dark web is roughly 6% of the internet is used for illegal activity like selling illegal drugs, weaponry, stolen personal data, so identity theft type things, counterfeit money, and websites or forums which host illegal content like illegal TV and streaming, child pornography, or white supremacy. All of the bad things are out on the dark web. What is the dark web? Well, the dark web requires specific software, configurations, and authorizations to access. Dark websites are accessible only through networks such as Tor. Tor is known as the anonymity network, and I2P, which stands for the Invisible Internet Project. Tor focuses on providing anonymous access to the internet. I2P specializes in allowing anonymous hosting of websites. Identities and locations of dark web users stay anonymous and cannot be tracked due to their layered encryption system. So the dark web has a series of servers, and the tools that are used make it impossible for local police or the FBI or stuff like that to track down or to shut down these bad servers and bad people that may use the dark web. You can't shut it down. There's no way to turn it off to get rid of it there. Dark web sites increase the value of stolen private data, and that's what we're talking about today, is that identity, that data that gets stolen by all those different ways and is available for sale for hackers and people to try and steal your money. Well, that data it's not just a bit here and a bit there. They start aggregating or combining the data together. If I have a phone number and that phone number points to these old addresses and these old addresses point to other financial information, you can tie it all together. And the more it's tied together, that more that data is valuable for stealing identities or attempting to break into accounts. An individual's data, and so if you do go out to the dark web, I don't recommend going out there, but you can buy data on, again, almost anybody in the world. You can buy data because there is data on everybody in the world. And it can cost anywhere from a few pennies up to like $300 for a nice chunk of data. You can see these samples here. Well, if I have somebody's PayPal account, I can get roughly $247 for it. Whereas their Costco account and password is only worth $5. And so you can see the different value of some of these things. Here's a complete set of data from W-2 tax forms that were stolen in 2016. That's going for $8.49. So you can buy all kinds of data, all different levels, and you can see what you're getting. Like in this case, you're getting a name, ID, employer's name, address, zip code, social security number, and all these different pieces of information. The buyers of this info are spammers or credential stuffers who take usernames and passwords leaked from one site to try and log into accounts on other sites where the users have used the same credentials, or to open up a new account, or to open up a new credit card, or to open up a new bank account. Everyone has had their data stolen, even if you've never had a computer or a smartphone. So some people say, I'm not going out to the internet. I'm not going to put my data out there. I'm not going to sign up for different things. So none of my data is out on the internet. Well, unfortunately, that's not true because companies collect all kinds of information on people, public information, and from all these different sites. Your data is out there. One of the sites that I've recommended, and I still recommend, is a site called Have I Been Pawned? Pawned is a phrase used in the hackers realm to talk about has data been collected on you? And this particular site, it's free to do. It's a legitimate site. And you can check for data breaches involving your email. Currently, there's over 17 billion accounts have been breached and are for sale. Now, if you're familiar with numbers, we have roughly 8 billion people in the entire world. So this is telling us, well, people have multiple accounts. I have multiple accounts, but there's 17 billion email addresses that have been breached. Let's go out here. So this is what the site looks like. I'm going to type in one of my emails here at gmail.com. And this is telling me it's been involved in 8 data breaches. And you can tell I'm not real worried because I guarantee you if you've had any email address that you've had, data has been breached and data is out on the dark web for you. So this gives you kind of a little history of when your email was first exposed and where it was exposed. So this is Twitter. 200 million accounts on Twitter were breached back in 2021. What data was compromised? Well, email addresses, names, social media profiles, usernames, and you can get some more detail. And it goes through different breaches that have occurred over the years there. So it's kind of interesting to look at, but don't let it get you upset, because there's nothing that you can do other than use the tips that we'll talk about later to protect yourself. But it's worthwhile to look out here and see. But your email, that's where I say I almost guarantee I have yet to find anybody whose email was not out here. So don't be surprised when you do see that your email was involved in a data breach there. So let me go back here. The NPD, that National Public Data, where the Social Security numbers were breached, because that data was not associated with an email, it won't show up in Have I Been Pawned. But if you're interested, if your Social Security number was exposed in that breach, you can use these two links here to do searches, and it'll tell you if your Social Security number has been exposed or not. So if you want to make sure that it was exposed or not exposed, and again, because 80% of the people in the United States were exposed, there's a pretty good chance that your Social Security number was exposed and is available for sale out on the dark web. So your data is out there. Once it's out there forever. So the dark web, you may have seen some of the services that'll say, we'll clean up your data and we'll remove your entries. Well, they're only removing entries that are on that clear top layer of the internet. They cannot remove the data from the dark web because, again, those are on sites that don't follow any rules. There is no process to remove your information from the dark web because essentially it's going to be out there forever, and it's going to be out there for sale forever. So that's just a fact of life. Your information is exposed. Now, don't be like this guy and start pulling out your hair, because all of our information is exposed there. The tips that I give and that are going to be there to protect yourself. So now that we understand that our data is out there, we have to protect ourselves. So let's start out with some tips to protect yourself. The first and most important is to freeze your, and if you have kids, credit, and you can do that for free to stop thieves from opening up accounts, loans, and services using your stolen identity information. You must freeze it on all three of the sites below, and you can unfreeze your credit at any time as needed. So if you were to buy a new car and you were taking out a car loan, the auto dealership is going to have to approve you. And the way that they approve is they check one of these three credit bureaus. So if you wanted to get a loan, you're going to have to unfreeze it for a day or two while they do their credit checks and make sure that everything's okay there. So this is a list of the credit bureaus, and if you're not familiar, in the United States, there's three credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And different companies use one of these three. One of these three are used by all companies to verify your credit information, whether you've had any problems or things like that. And so to freeze your account, you just use these links and go out there, and you have to give it some of your personal information, and it'll freeze your account. It'll also give you a code and that to unfreeze the account if you do need it to buy a house or to get a new credit card or to get, like I say, a car loan or stuff like that. But it's all explained out there. Now, I mentioned down here, beware of fake websites. So if you do a Google or you look for stuff, again, scammers may be trying to send you to their site to collect even more information about yourself. So beware of fake websites, emails, or telephone calls from scammers posing as one of these three services. Okay, some more tips to protect yourself. You can request one free credit report a year from each of the three credit services, the Equifax, the Experience, and the TransUnion. You can request a credit report, and that you can use this link. When you do that, you get a detailed information about your credit. It includes personal information. It includes every credit card that you have currently open. It includes all your personal loans that you have. It includes if you've had any foreclosures or bankruptcies and what kind of credit inquiries have been made. So it's relatively easy. All you do is go out to this website and request one. And then you can look through that list to see if there's unusual activity, a credit card that you're not familiar with, or something out there, a bank account that you maybe don't know. And even one credit report a year, but because there's three different credit bureaus there, space those three requests out, and I'd recommend every 4 months or whatever, request a free credit report and check it every 4 months from one of the different services there. This is a disclaimer. You've probably seen ads on TV and on the internet, or maybe you have friends or people that sign up for a theft monitoring service or insurance. I don't recommend that you spend any money on identity theft or insurance like LifeLock or McAfee Plus. They can charge up to $40 a month, but they're actually not providing you any more than what the tips that I'm giving today do. So there'd be they don't have any access to any magic things and that would protect you more. So save your money, do these things yourself, freeze your credit, know how to unfreeze it, look at your credit report. That's all these services do. They'll send you an email and said, "Oh, we found this," or "Gee, your email was found in a data breach out there." Well, again, you can get all that stuff for free without paying upwards of $40 a month. So the tips will actually do a better job of protecting you than what these services will. The services or insurance will hype fear tactics, and they'll make fake claims on how they can help you. Many services brag about covering your losses up to $1 million. LifeLock, $1 million. Well, most victims of identity theft get their money back without any insurance at all. So probably 99% of the people will get your money back eventually. It does take a lot of time, whether you have LifeLock or don't have LifeLock, but the insurance didn't get you the money back. It's just that the banks and the credit cards and the places that were hacked usually will, once they authenticate that your identity truly was stolen, will reimburse you or fix the credit cards where charges may have been made. Information on the dark web is never deleted. So that I talked about that earlier. Companies that say that they'll remove your information from the dark web, they cannot do that. So they can remove information from Google searches, but you can do that for free. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, another tip to protect yourself, create strong passwords. I've preached on this over and over again. Create strong passwords, unique for each of your online accounts. Change them routinely. Never reuse old passwords. So if you've got a bank account, you should be changing that password at least probably once a year there. And because we all have so many passwords, you must be using a password manager. Password managers make it easy to work with these passwords and to change them. And the password managers, we've had sessions before. I recommend Bitwarden. Or if you have all Apple products, you can use the package that comes with Apple. It's Apple Passwords. If you hear of a breach or get an email from, let's say, Best Buy, sends you an email and says, we recently had a breach, you want to immediately change your password. I also recommend using passkeys instead of passwords on sites and services that support passkeys. And we talked about all of this earlier this year in March when we talked about online security and passwords. And you can revisit the video or the handout to get more detail there. Okay, more tips. Enable two-factor authentication, 2FA, where you use a secondary form of authentication to a text, could be a text message to your phone or an authenticator app. Stolen password is useless without that additional factor. Especially important for email accounts, financial, banking, and retirement sites. Your email account and password are the most important because it is the way most sites let you reset a password. So you really have to be careful with these important accounts and passwords. Another thing you should be doing is you should be watching your credit card and bank statements for unexpected charges and payments. Almost every bank and credit card now lets you turn on email or text notifications, whether it's your bank, brokerage, or credit card, of every transaction, or if the password gets changed, or if there's new payees. This is an example. I have a Fidelity credit card. Every time I use that Fidelity credit card, whether it's a 1 cent charge or a $10,000 charge, I get a text message that tells me what the amount was and who it was going to, and that's immediately when the charge is made, usually. Another thing you can do or should do is go paperless where you can. Don't get statements or information delivered to you in the standard mail system. Statements are securely delivered and stored right in your account online with no need to shred. So people that do get their checking accounts or their credit card or stuff like that mailed to them, it's just extra work for you that you really don't have to go through, and you're much safer and better off accessing them online than you are putting them in your own file cabinet and potentially having somebody steal stuff out of your mailbox or things like that. If you choose not to create an online account, so I'll have people say, well, I'm not going to create an online account at my bank because I'm worried about a hacker or somebody getting in there. Actually, you're just the person that the hacker's looking for, because it's so much easier for a hacker to access your account online, set up that online account, than it is for him to break into an existing account. Long as he has account numbers and emails and things like that, it's relatively easy for most of these banks or brokerage houses to set up an online account. So make sure you set up your own online account, set up that multi-factor authentication, and use the long, strong passwords. Okay, more tips. Lock up sensitive documents. And always shred or use certified document destruction services to destroy them. Never give your personal information to somebody who calls, emails, or texts you if you did not initiate the request. So we talked about that before in scams and things like that. If there's any question, you get a telephone call or an email that says, we've noticed a fraudulent charge in your bank. Well, don't click on anything. And if it has a telephone number to call, don't call that number. Look at your other bank statements, or if you have a bookmark on your browser, or you have an app on your phone, go out to your app on your phone and check and see that you know is taking you to the correct legal, not scammed bank site. Don't respond or click to links in text, emails, or social media posts from somebody claiming to be from a government agency, a known company, or a bank if you didn't initiate the request. Go directly to the company's website instead of using their email links. Use a mobile-based payment system like Apple Pay or Android Pay. Those are much more secure than using a physical credit card and taking it out and tapping it or swiping it. So if you haven't started using those, you should be using those. PayPal should also be used where possible instead of your credit card. If you're buying items from smaller companies, PayPal never exposes your credit card number to these small companies. Whereas if you're giving the small company the credit card, you're counting on that company being a legitimate company and keeping your credit card number safe. Keep your operating system, the apps that you have, the software, and the antivirus up to date. If you're running Windows 10, you shouldn't be running Windows 10. If you're running Windows 7 or 8, you're just asking for it. If you're having an Apple system and you're not running OS 26 and what's the previous version? I think Apple only supports like 2 versions there. So if you're not running one of those 2 versions, you shouldn't be using it. You should buy new hardware or upgrade to the newer operating system. Delete old apps that you don't use anymore. Protect your physical mail. You can sign up for UPS Informed Delivery. That'll send you an email usually the day that they're going to deliver mail, so that you know that, I should be getting 5 pieces of mail or whatever, and this is from my bank or this is from this. You'll be able to see that in the email of what's coming, and if it doesn't come, it's possible that somebody stole your mail there. So it's a free service from the United States Post Office, and it can signal if somebody is stealing the mail there. Limit what you share on social media sites like Facebook. So don't make all your information public. Don't make all your posts public. Because if you're putting personal information in there, addresses, vacations that you go to, accounts that you have, that's all public then. Use the built-in security and limit what personal information you make public to the world. Remove your personal information from Google searches. So this is a handy little feature. If you click on this link, Google will tell you where your email is referenced in all Google searches, and you can choose to have it removed from most of the sites there. So it's a way to kind of protect yourself a little bit there. Make sure to create and then review your recovery email addresses and phone numbers periodically. So if you have banks and financial information, you want to make sure if a hacker does gain control of one account, you should be able to recover using a phone number or a secondary email address. There's resources available out at the Social Security Administration, and that'll help you through all of this. As soon as you suspect, if you think somebody has stolen your ID and is creating credit cards, you want to take action immediately to stop the unauthorized charges, or if they're attempting to open up accounts and credit cards and that, you want to start that immediately. And you can do what's called a free fraud alert. And so if you go out to this site, the Experian website, and report the fraud, or you can call this 888 number, they'll alert all 3 credit services, and they'll start putting a lock on your credit to shut down the person that's trying to take over your account. And there's 3 different types of alerts that can be done. An initial fraud alert that lasts 1 year, and it's usually good for anyone who suspects that they've had or been a victim of fraud. There's an extended fraud victim alert. That lasts for 7 years. So if you're really having problems, they'll create what's called the extended fraud alert. And then if you're in active military, there's an active duty alert that can be set. You want to contact fraud departments for each credit card company and business where you think the account was opened or charged without your knowledge. And you want to do this stuff as fast as possible. While you're not responsible for the fraudulent charges to an account, you need to report the suspicious activity promptly. Document everything by keeping copies of statements or documents and expenses and records of your conversations about the theft. Create a recovery plan. The Federal Trade Commission has a tool that helps you report identity theft and recover your identity through a personal recovery plan. If you think you're a victim, immediately submit a report about the theft to the Federal Trade Commission, and this is an address there. Okay, so those are all the tips. We all have to stop the identity theft. Act now. Those tips are gold. They'll protect you. They'll help you. Your identity theft is preventable. The best defense is your awareness plus an action. If you do nothing, you're going to, when it does happen to you and somebody does create accounts, you're going to be in a heap of a mess there. And the effort involved now is vastly less than the task of picking up the pieces after hackers have stolen your identity. So hopefully this has been emphasized and got you thinking. And if you haven't done these things, you'll go out and start making changes there. Okay, let me do this. Let me turn my video. Let me turn off sharing here. Let me do that. Oh. And let me turn on my video, and we'll see. I don't see anything in the chat. If somebody's got a question, you can unmute yourself, and if you want to turn on your video, you can, and you can ask a question.
Oh, hey, Tom, it's Mitch.
Sure.
I've been getting a lot of text from entities. Some of them are repeat, the same verbiage, or text, phone, or phone messages that want to lend me money, and like 4, 8, 10 a day. So now I've got all of these things in my, that I have. For me, I have to delete. I don't know if I should report spam and delete the phone number, because it seems like the same entity is using multiple phone numbers. Is that a real thing?
Yeah. You aren't the only one getting, whether it's text or emails, it's kind of basically the same thing. Even telephone calls. So there's, in some cases, there's legitimate ones that are spam, like political ones, vote for our person, or things like that. But certainly there's a lot of ones that'll pop up and say, we've got a charge, or a charge has been made to this account, call this number, your Apple ID has been used in this breach, or your Microsoft account has been charged this. And I've had separate presentations on those types of scams and given more information here. So this presentation today was kind of on identity theft and where some of this stuff is stored. But scams, we all have to be aware of that. The emails, the texts, the telephone calls, when you get one that you don't want, if it's from a legitimate company, unsubscribe, because usually they'll have an unsubscribe if it's a text or that you can get off of their list. If they don't successfully unsubscribe you, you can sue them. And I believe it's $300 per instance. So if they continue to send stuff to you and you've technically unsubscribed from Best Buy and they keep sending you stuff, you can sue them for $300 for each instance that they violated that. And there's people that make a living. That's all they do is sue these companies and get $300 here or $600 there. Now, if it's a scam, you don't want to be replying to it. You don't want to click on anything. You don't want to try and unsubscribe from it. Those types of messages, what you should do on your phone or on your desktop or laptop or tablet, whether it's email or text, report it as spam and block it. And so that's the best thing that you can do. The minute you do that, your algorithms start changing to where in an email, now it's going to start saying, oh, be aware of this scam here. So the next one that comes along, instead of it showing up in your inbox, it's going to go to the spam folder. So even if it comes from a different address, it's now going into your spam folder. The same is true of text messages and stuff like that. If you block and report it as spam, that's better for everybody because the databases that if you have turned on the spam filter for your text messages, and you should turn that on for your text messages and telephone calls, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon all support that. You just have to go into your phone and go into your settings if you haven't turned it on to turn it on to filter out those. So they'll cut down. It's not going to be 100%. You'll never get another one, but the volume that you get should go down dramatically to the point where you're just maybe getting 1 or 2 a day at most. You should not get a bunch of them there, and it certainly shouldn't be repeat scams or that.
Yeah. Okay, Tom. Thanks.
You're welcome. Other questions, comments?
Tom, related to the what you just said about going into the settings to help block those text scams, before I go into settings, what is the terminology? Is it going to be a spam or what? There's got to be more than just going into settings.
It's going into settings. Now, there isn't one particular because depends on the cell service that you have. The main companies, AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon are your three main companies. But then you have Consumer Cellular, you have Mint, you have 1,000 other variations there. Each of those may call it a different thing, but if you open up your text and go to settings, so go into your text application, go into settings, I highly recommend people look through all those settings because you do have within there's probably should be maybe at least 20 different settings in there that you can turn on or off. And by default, some phone plans turn it on automatically. Some of them it's turned off when you get a new phone or you get the service. You have to go in there and turn it on. So it's up to you. If you have any question about, you look in there and you can't find it, your friend is a Google search. Just put in there the plan that you have. How do I block text messages, or how do I block telephone calls? And text messages are different than telephone calls. So you'll have to go into the phone settings to change that, and you'd go into the text settings to change that. And the email is obviously another. You'd go to Gmail or Hotmail or wherever your email provider is, and you'd go in and do the settings there. And that's usually by device. So that isn't something that carries over. If I have a tablet and I have a phone and I have a laptop, I do it on each of those platforms for the blocking and that.
All right, I will take a deeper dive at that. I have gotten some very unusual new types of email spams this last week. They come in very legitimate, and not only on the to list do they have my stolen email address, but they also have their email address where I can't block it. The email is unblockable, and it's ticking me off, and I can't figure out the new scam on how they're doing that.
Scams, anyone, whether it's phone, text, or email, I could send you a phone, I could do a telephone call, I could do a text message or an email, and I could say, I'm from Donald Trump at whitehouse.gov. You can't believe the telephone number that it may have come in on, the email address that it may have come in on, because those can be spoofed very easily.
But what they're doing, they spoofed my email. That's what I'm saying. Right. So if I'm blocking myself, if I do anything, but it's also coming back as a no reply unblockable. And I'm like, these are very clever. And that's one email example of that, 2 different ways I can't.
Yeah, worst case comes to worse. So if this is like a Gmail account, Gmail lets you do something. So let's say you try the spam, report as spam, and you're still getting stuff. You can create what's called a filter. That filter can say, whenever you see this word or that word and this, put it in this folder or automatically delete it. You can get rid of it. And so it's relatively easy to do that. You don't want to make them too complicated. So if you're always getting this from trying to sell you a certain service, put in the name of that service. You don't want Viagra anymore. Put in the name of Viagra and say everything goes to the trash or to your spam folder, wherever you want it to go, and it won't be clogging up your inbox and causing you any issue there. Okay? Okay, other questions, comments?
Hey, Tom, this is John Stafko speaking. I have a Gmail account, and one of the things that in Gmail is they have a thing say spam. And most of the time, I just delete those. I don't report them. Maybe I should. But every once in a while, one of the messages that go to spam is a good site. So I have to move that. This is not spam. Also, when I get phone calls from a number I don't recognize, it's not in my contact list, I don't answer it. And I figure if they really want to get a hold of me, they can leave me a text message. And I'd say 95% of the time, a number comes in, I don't answer it, and there's no text message. So, or no voicemail. So that's one way that I stop that from happening. It's not always foolproof, especially this time of the year when there's political season. I'm beginning to get emails and text messages from politicians asking me for a donation. I never donate to them anyhow, but I don't know if I can block them or not. Yeah,
a couple of things there. The the items that end up in your spam, again, whether it's text messages or emails, it works the same way there. If it ends up in there, then the algorithm, either from your provider, Gmail, or if it's a phone text message, let's say it's T-Mobile, T-Mobile has its list of things that it's looking for. As you identify additional things that you are not interested in, so you tell it, this was spam, I don't want to see stuff like this anymore, the algorithm gets changed so that in the future, more items are going to go in there. When you find an item in the spam that shouldn't be in the spam, and say this is not spam, that also affects the algorithm. So that does what's called whitelisting. It gives a positive to this type of email, whether it comes from this person, to put into the inbox or show in your text messages. So you are the one in control. Don't let the spam, don't let the political, don't let this stuff get, don't get mad at it. Get back at it and control it. So you should be able to control it. Now, having said that, you mentioned at the end political. So there's certain exemptions. I mentioned that if you unsubscribe from something, a legitimate company, let's say it's Best Buy or 3M, and 3M continues to send you emails there, you can sue them. You can't sue nonprofits. So nonprofits are exempt from the spam rules. So your best there is unsubscribe from it. So if they say send stop to stop receiving, send stop to stop receiving. Doesn't mean that it's actually going to stop them, but it'll cut down. And if you do that enough times, you should be on their list to not be sent text messages or emails there. Also, if you're identifying that as spam in your email, let's say, your email algorithm is now going to respond and say, if I see something that is related to the general election here, now it goes into the spam. And it's that easy. It's that easy. If you start training it, it's gonna respond and clear your stuff up there. Okay.
Yeah, Tom, I have T-Mobile as my phone thing, and every once in a while the phone will ring, and a message comes up that says potential spam, and I guess that T-Mobile is doing that. Somebody's reported them. Obviously, I don't answer.
That's probably me who reported them. So again, if you get any message, if you get any telephone call and you open it up and you go, this was spam here. If you just sit there and cuss and not like it, you are part of the problem. What you want to do is you want to click on that. So after you're done with the telephone call, go to your phone app, go to the recent calls, identify, here's the one that was here, hold it down, and then report as spam. The more people that report it, the more it's going to go away, the algorithms get changed, and we don't see it. If you do nothing, nothing happens. So it's a community effort. We all have to, when we get stuff, we have to report it. And it'll change your personal algorithm, but it'll also change T-Mobile so that instead of potential scam, it'll say scam. So you've probably seen that from T-Mobile. Some of them say scam, some of them say potential scam. Well, if only a certain number of people have reported it, that's a potential scam. If 100,000 people have reported it, that's a scam. So the more we all work together and report these things, the better we're all going to get. And every device and every cell service and every email service has this capability. And you should be using it when you get stuff. I'll work with people that are getting 200 emails a day. And they go, oh, all I get is this crap in my email every day. And I go, well, you're part of the problem because you're not doing anything to manage it. So it's up to you to manage it. Unsubscribe from the ones that are legitimate companies and report as spam and the other ones. And I guarantee you within a month, you won't be getting 200 unsolicited emails there.
Well, that's good advice. I guess I need to be a little bit more proactive about these things. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good advice, Tom. Thanks.
Any other questions, comments?
Tom, this is John Stofko once again.
Sure.
We have a friend who doesn't like to do anything on the internet because she's afraid of getting scammed. But recently, she all of a sudden got her bank statement, and there was a $6,000 withdrawal, and she has no idea how that happened. And called the bank up right away, and the bank says, "Well, we'll fix that for you." And I guess they went through the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation to get that $6,000 back to her. Now, how that happened, she doesn't know. They said somebody may have been looking over her shoulder at the bank. Who knows?
Yeah, it certainly, like you said, it can happen anywhere. And the fact that she's doesn't have online accounts, like I say, doesn't protect you. It actually makes you more susceptible to something like this, because what I can do is I can go out to a bank. I can create.
You got this? You printed this from him?
Yeah.
I can create a new account. If I have an account number there, I can create an account pretending to be her.
You've never ever said that.
Yeah, excuse me, Chris, I did mute you there. So I can create a new account out there if I know the account number. Now, let's say I didn't know the account number. I don't know an account number. Well, I can take an existing account number that I know, let's say like US Bank has, put a couple of numbers in it, and attempt to create an account out there. Worst case, it says, well, there's already an account out there. Then I try the next number. Then I try the next number. Then I try the next number. Eventually, I hit on one of them that somebody hasn't created an online account. And then, so the account number didn't have to be somebody physically at the bank. Didn't have to be somebody, that you physically saw there. It could just be a hacker doing stuff online. Or the other thing where I mentioned like using Google Pay and Apple Pay and that, I mentioned to people like with credit cards. So you go to the credit cards. If I go to my Lund's grocery store down the street there, if I take out my credit card, you are 100, 1,000 times more susceptible to somebody stealing your credit card number than me taking out my phone and tapping it to pay. The reason is you take out that credit card, everybody has a phone in their hand now. This phone can take high definition pictures. I can take a picture of your credit card and get your credit card number off of it without you knowing. So if I'm in back of you in line, maybe two people or that, I can pretend like I'm on my phone and take a picture there, and I've got your credit card number, and you've got your code, and you've got your expiration date. That's all printed on the credit card, and I can get it off of the phone. So you should be using Apple Pay, Google Pay. If you aren't, you kind of get what you deserve if somebody uses your credit card number and unauthorized charges things. So we all have to be careful and just understand what's going on there. Other last question or comment? Okay. Well, thanks for joining today, and hopefully if you haven't done these tips, you'll go out and start doing them. Freeze your credit, prepare yourself there, get your credit reports, check on things. That's the best that you can do. Don't pay for a service, because like I say, people will pay for a service, and I got a number of the free services because some of the data breaches will give you free LifeLock for 3 years or 5 years. And believe me, those emails that they send out monthly are a bunch of crap. Your email has been exposed out on the dark web. Well, you're not even telling me what pieces of information were out there. You're not telling me what breach it was for. I can get that for free on this other site. And so your supposed thing that you're, selling as a service is to no advantage whatsoever there. So, like I say, don't pay for the service there. It's just not worth it. Jerry, you had a question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Several years ago, I was at a restaurant, and the waitress will take your credit card and disappear into a back room.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I accompany my credit card.
Yeah, it's certainly be suspicious there, and that's where I say when I go into any place, most legitimate businesses that are new businesses or aren't back in the Stone Age will take the Google Pay and the Apple Pay, where I'll just tap. And it's a case of there's no chance of anybody getting a number. The number that's generated from here. So let's say I go down to, I have a restaurant bar near me called Tiffany's. I go to Tiffany's. I tap this. Tiffany's on their server has a one-time credit card number that was generated by Google Pay. So they don't even have my credit card number. If there's a data breach at Tiffany's and a thief breaks in and sees in today, Tom was down there and had a charge, and this is his number and his expiration date and his code, it'd do them no good whatsoever. They can't even make one charge because it's a one-time use number, and that one-time use number was used up. And so anybody seeing the number, any data breach at Tiffany or anywhere else, does somebody no good whatsoever. So the physical cards are a weak link, and the way we use them, if you're still using cards, is a weak link. And so there are mechanisms to protect yourself and to be secure there. Okay?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, in Europe, they won't touch your credit card. So if you hand it to them, they'll back off and hand you their machine that you can swipe it through. Just let you know.
Yeah, the thing that I don't like about that is, like I said, at Lund's or at a restaurant, let's say there's somebody in a booth next door or a table next door, and they've got their phone out, and everybody's got their phone out. If I have my phone out and I have a clear sight of your credit card, one click, and I've got your credit card numbers.
Oh,
I could go to Best Buy and I could buy a 85-inch TV.
Yeah, I use Apple Pay myself, but I was just saying.
Yeah, because some people will say, well, but I use the tap for my credit card. I use the tap, and I said, yes, but in order to do the tap, you took the physical credit card out of your wallet. Chances are you turned it over where the numbers are written. And again, the cameras are fabulous on these phones now, that I can be 10 feet away and I can take a picture of you or of your card, and I can get the number off of the card. So we all have to be careful.
Tom, this is Bonnie.
Sure.
Does Google Pay get a cut?
No, there's no charge whatsoever. And if you haven't used it, Certainly if you're getting any tickets to the Twins, the Timberwolves, the Vikings, you need to use like Google Pay. That's the only way you'll get the ticket. There's no such thing as physical tickets anymore. But also what you can put, so this is a wallet, and you can put credit cards in it. You can also put your insurance in there. You can put your passport in there. So I have my passport, and most of the airlines or stuff like that, if I have to use a passport, I can pull it up right on here. So whether it's Apple Pay or Google Pay, it's actually Apple Wallet and Google Wallet. They have a lot of features and functions if you haven't used them. Okay. Minnesota still does, we can't put our Minnesota license and have that valid. You still have to carry a Minnesota license with you, but I believe it's 35 other states do allow their licenses to just be on your phone there. You do not have to carry a physical license with you.
Hey, Tom.
Yes. Hello,
This
Linda.
is, yes. My main purpose for one of many things for arriving today is to figure out how this whole system operates, because I haven't done this online for ages. So I don't know how to raise my hand. I'm glad I just near the end figured out where the microphone was in multiple different places. My question, with everything you say about all this information contained on your telephone, what happens if somehow you drop it and a car runs over it, or you drop it in water, or you lose it? What is your backup for recovery under those circumstances when you in that one place?
There is a past presentation on how to secure your phone, what you should have turned on and what you, but your phone and all this information, for the most part, is already backed up to the cloud. So literally, if my phone got stolen or run over by a truck and damaged, I'd buy a new phone, and roughly in an hour, I'd be back up exactly where I was.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry. It's being backed up to the cloud, and there's
You just have to find the store, and well, then if you don't have your phone to purchase a new phone, what do you use in the meantime while your main phone that does everything is now gone?
If my phone was run over by a truck, what I could do is I could either do it on the telephone or walk into a T-Mobile store, and I could say, I want to buy a new phone. They're going to validate that it's me by I'd have to show an ID or that. Once they validate it's me.
So a secondary ID, like your drivers, what do you carry if it's all not on your phone? I guess that you're so high tech. I'm imagining what the possibilities are.
I still carry a wallet, a physical wallet, because not every place takes Apple Pay or Google Pay.
All right.
So you do still have to carry it. It's just that I'm not taking the physical card out, so the number can't get stolen. So, and that would be true of like a passport. If I didn't have my phone and I went down to T-Mobile, I might take a passport, or if they didn't steal my physical driver's license, I'd take that. Now, most people have multiple devices. So if you have a tablet and a phone and a desktop, there's ways to do all that too. So I can access stuff on there from all the different devices too.
Just a matter of knowing where it is and how to access it, and being patient and getting yourself set up anew, I guess. Okay, just am curious. It's levels beyond my regular thoughts about these capabilities, but I'm always curious to find out what you guys are doing. And with I am doing, when I tuned in today, finally for the first time, I am doing one thing correctly about incoming emails. well, in that particular environment, because I've been doing that identify as a spam and report, because you can just, and I doubt if there's anything that's odd about anything in that address, or just I have any second thoughts about, I just report it as spam and let somebody worry about it, and if it's really important, they'll come to me somehow, some way. But yeah, I got burned once a couple years ago, and I hope I never, ever. I just don't trust anybody though nowadays. But good to be back. Now that I have spoken up, how you ladies have some amazing photos on the screen. I love both of them. I wish I was as photogenic. Linda, looks like you are just having lots of fun in some beautiful place. So, and Paula, you always look amazing. Mitch, always good to see you looking solid and steady there in your photo. Tom, appreciate you being there too.
Okay,
So I don't know how often I can come back, but in the short time I could visit, you help me feel that I'm doing one thing right. I am going to be sending you an email about this final change.
I'm going to have to close this down. I have to get to an appointment, but we'll talk to you later.
We'll be talking to you before September 1st.
Okay, we'll see everybody. Take care.
I don't know how.
Thanks, Tom. Yep. Bye.
Let's